Alright guys, here we go. So we're now transitioning to volume of prisms and cylinders. And as you probably know from a previous class, volume is just the amount of space that a figure encloses. And just keep in mind we're stepping it up. Instead of square units, now we're in cubic units. So we're going to skip over this investigation here. And the volume for a prism is area of the base of that shape times the height of the shape. And remember, height is defined as the distance between the bases. Okay, so here in our first example, we're going to find the volume of the prism and round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So first question is, what are my bases? What are the two polygons that are non-parallelograms, non-rectangles? Don't be fooled that it's not necessarily the top and the bottom. So in this case, it's the triangles are my bases. Okay, so once I've identified which sides are my bases, then I can find the area of those and then find the height. The distance between my bases in this case is 9. So we know our area formula is area of the base times height. And this triangle appears to be an equilateral triangle. We got this 5 here that I think would go right there. And so on an equilateral triangle, we know that we have 60 degrees in all the corner angles. So what I'm going for here is area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. And to be honest, this is what's tricky. Prisms are probably the trickiest shape. And it's because this area formula, this area of the base, changes every stinking time depending on what shape your base is. Okay, and then we know this height. We already know that's 9. Okay, so I know my base of my triangle is 5, and then the height of my triangle, let's see, if I bust up this 5 into 2.5 on either side of that altitude, then if across from 30 is 2.5, across from 60 would be 2.5 square root 3. So this would be 2.5 square root 3 for the height of that length of that altitude times 9 for the height of the three-dimensional shape. Again, that can be frustrating for a lot of people because technically I have two different heights going on. I've got the height, which is the distance of my three-dimensional shape, the distance between my two bases on this prism, and then I also have the height of the triangle on the base. So just keep in mind that's a little tricky. So I put that in my calculator and that comes out to 97.4 inches cubed. Okay, so I'm going to let you pause the video and try yourself, and then we'll come back and take a look at it. Okay, so for this we have our two bases we identified to be the trapezoids. Those are our non-parallelogram shapes, and then we have our height, our distance between our bases was the 6. So area of the base, in this situation our bases are trapezoids, so we're going to do the area formula for trapezoid, height times b1 plus b2 all over 2, and then our height, our distance between those trapezoids was 6, so that's the 3D height. So I hope you said your height of your trapezoid was 1.5, base 1 was 2, base 2 was 4 all over 2 times 6. We're going to put that in our calculator and we get 27 centimeters cubed. Okay, moving on to a cylinder. You've got, again, base times height, same stinking formula. The only difference is on a cylinder, every time your base is a circle. So every stinking time your base is going to be pi r squared. So how are the volume in a cylinder and a prism? They're the same. They're both area of the base times height. How are their volume formulas different? The base of a circle, a base of a cylinder rather, is always a circle. And this might show up on a test question, just by the way. Okay, so here we have a cylinder. Area formula is base, area of the base times height, or in other words, pi r squared times height, right? And so I'm looking at this and it looks like my is that a diameter is 7 or radius is 7? Oh, it must be the diameter. So if my distance all the way across is 7, then my radius is what, 3.5? So that'd be pi times 3.5 quantity squared. But I don't know my height of the cylinder, so I have to go find it. So what I'm going to do is I've got a right triangle here, it looks like, and that's conveniently a triple. That's what, a 7, 24, 25? Okay, if you didn't know that, then you came over here in your side work and you said 7 squared plus x squared equals 25 squared, and x came out to be 24. Okay, we're going to put that in our calculator. It says to the nearest tenth, so I don't have to worry about putting it in terms of pi. So that is approximately, let me do squiggles, 923.6 feet cubed. Okay, so we're going to pause here and you can pick up in the next video.